Interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum. "17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped. 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Wilhelm and his fools have deranged my research log long enough with their absent-minded handling of the human vessels. The sheriff is keeping a watchful eye on the forest and is killing my trusty servants. It is just a matter of time until they follow the trail to Brennenburg. I need to lock Wilhelm and his men up to avoid further investigation from the public. The wine cellar will therefore be sealed off until the matter has been handled. Either the king's men leave or they will starve. Whatever comes first, they can rot for all I care. Maybe I will feed them some wine if would, in a sense, solve both my problems.
should be more coop rats. Let me see. And one part aquaforce.
Chemical relocation. The lack of a chimney to properly vent the fumes from my most recent experiments has taken its toll among my less stable ingredients in storage. Some seem unaffected, but many are stained by the fumes and will be difficult to salvage. I shall do what I can and move them to the wine cellar. Carly alchemy experiment. This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. The former components lack the potency I need, but I sense I'm close. Calamine and orpiment are given in the cupright binds them well. This time I will attempt aqua riga instead of aqua fortis and hope it will produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acid and proves impractical to put any use except as a detergent. Organic tissue reacts especially violently to the solution and should be handled with the greatest care. I might be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope that I will find an alchemic solution to my predicament. One day, if I returned, if it wasn't for the thought of you, my love, I wouldn't be able to go on. When I found myself doing terrible things, I comfort you. As long as I'm able to think of you and long for our life together, I know I'm better than the others. I wept for them. They lust for power without restraint. I'm only crave fair judgment and a safe return.
Someone's coming!
Where did the Baron go?
Who cares? He left us enough wine to last us a lifetime. Or at least until tomorrow.
What? What is this place?
What's happening? Oh, it feels like my chest is going to burst. Oh.
My God! Wilhelm, do something!
Accept it. We're not getting out of here alive.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of shit! Let us out of here!
William's last words, my name is Wilhelm, House of Reach. These are my final words, my confession and testament. For 2 years ago, I summoned the castle Brennenburg. As most of the aristocracy, I was curious about what this supposed Knight of the Order could want from me, and accepted the invitation. The Baron was friendly and offered me a proposition. It was dawned on me that the nature of the contract was sordid, and the reason I was chosen was because of my follies of my past and not the honors I've been rewarded with during my time as a soldier. I was to kidnap healthy humans upon his slightest whim, and do so without asking questions. In return, he would attest to my character at the royal court, advancing my position within a noble society. I would like to claim that I struggled with my decision, but it came swiftly and accepted wholeheartedly. Ever since that day, I brought men, women, and children to Brennenburg. I can't remember the numbers, but there were many, perhaps even 100, none of whom were even seen or heard from again. Tonight the Baron invites me and my men down to the wine cellar to celebrate our work. I had my suspicions as we descended the stairs, but he insisted and joined us in a toast. The wine tasted fine, and our men drank without restraint. So begins the punishment for our sins. The Baron has locked us up and returned upstairs. Forgive me for what I've done. I was weak and fell into his diabolical ways. My men were screaming, their skins had been pierced by their own tangled bones. I feel my insides revolt against their God-given nature. Blood has begun to pour from my eyes. I can no longer
hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the wards. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
Local folklore, Austro Britain Castle, 1801. Another region rich with lore is Alstrad. Deep within the East Prussian woods, for centuries there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbor, Castle Brandenburg. The quiet forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lake and picturesque is as picturesque as it can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. Ask any local and they will hear proof of the widespread superstition. All travelers should indulge themselves in such conversation, since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists on the tales, but there are some motives that keep appearing. The Gatherers. This story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that soldiers who abandoned their duty got lost in the cold, dark woods and were never damned to roam the grounds. Their bodies, wrought by their tainted souls, have left them disfigured, empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years, described them as horrid reverence. They move silently through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called gatherers, as they seem to follow their ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey which can be heard struggling inside the damp burlap sacks dragged behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme do they follow? A visit undone. Heinrich Cornelius Appra, the well-known erudite, visited Alstrad at the start of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight as he looked for the remnants of kingdoms past. During his stays, the prominent members of society paid notice that he mentioned in many records of the time. One day he went to investigate a burrow in the southwestern glades, only to never be seen again. Heinrich is known to have passed away in Granestone some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of ever visiting Alstrad, but makes you wonder what really happened. Who was this mysterious man who visited the sleepy hamlet in the woods, and what happened to him? The immortal Baron. The Baron of Breinberg lives in a reclusive life with his family at his castle near Alstrad, and like most of those noble birth, rumors are inherited along with the title. Researching the history reveals little. Before the castle was consumed by fire in the late 16th century, it was rebuilt by Alexander, the nobleman from the Rhinelands, claiming the the role of protector as the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region flourish and remain popular throughout his presumed lifetime. The family has always been secretive when it comes to the lineage and heritage. Therefore, the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring has never been fully recorded. This has fed the idea that Baron is in fact one and the same who came from the west over 100 years ago, lived through the time of occupation, joined the coveted order of the Black Eagle along with the great leaders of this country.